Imagine this. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. You are wide awake. Again, you are staring at the ceiling, feeling that nagging, uncomfortable urge to get out of your warm bed. You make that lonely walk across the cold floor to the bathroom, and you wonder, will I ever get a full night of rest again? Well, what if the answer was not an expensive pill, but a simple spice sitting right in your kitchen cabinet? Doctors are actually shocked by this. If you chew this one common spice for just 60 seconds before bed, it could change everything. No more midnight trips. No more feeling exhausted and foggy the next morning. Just deep, heavy, beautiful sleep. Today, I am going to show you exactly what this spice is, why it works, and how this 60-second ritual is helping thousands of Americans reclaim their nights. Stick around, because this might be the most important minute of your day. The science behind the midnight dash. Understanding Nocturia. Have we all been there? Haven't we? It is 3 o'clock in the morning. The house is silent. You are tucked under your favorite warm quilt, finally drifting into a deep, peaceful dream. And then, it hits you. That familiar, nagging pressure in your lower belly. Your bladder is calling. You try to ignore it. You tell yourself, just 5 more minutes. But the urge won't go away. So you sigh, push back the covers, and plant your feet on the cold floor. You make that long, lonely walk to the bathroom. Again, doctors have a fancy name for this. They call it Nocturia. Now, I know what you are thinking. You might think it is just a normal part of getting older. You might think it is just a small annoyance. But let's be honest with each other. It is much more than that. When you wake up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night, you aren't just losing time. You are losing your health. You see, our bodies need what experts call uninterrupted sleep. When we sleep straight through the night, our brains go into deep cleaning mode. It is like a nightly car wash for your mind. It clears out the fog, it strengthens your memory, and it helps your heart stay strong. But when you make that midnight dash to the bathroom, you break the cycle. You pull yourself out of that deep, healing rest, and the next morning, you feel it. You feel tired in your bones. You feel a little more forgetful. You might even feel a bit blue or irritable. So why is this happening to us? Why can't our bodies just wait until the sun comes up? Well, there are usually 4 big reasons. First, let's talk about something called bladder spasms. Imagine your bladder is like a small, muscular balloon. As we get older, that muscle can get a little twitchy. It gets sensitive. Even if your bladder isn't actually full, it starts to squeeze. It sends a false alarm to your brain, screaming that you have to go right now. It is a mistake, a tiny, muscular mistake that ruins your night. Then, there is the issue of fluid. Have you ever noticed that your ankles look a bit swollen after a long day of walking or sitting in your favorite chair? In the medical world, they call this edema. All that fluid stays down in your legs while you're upright, but the moment you lie down to sleep, gravity changes. That fluid travels back up to your kidneys. Your kidneys look at all that extra water and say, "Okay, time to work," and before you know it, you are wide awake and heading for the hallway. The third reason is something many of us overlook. It is digestive pressure. If you feel bloated after dinner, or if you have a bit of gas, that extra air in your gut actually takes up space. It physically pushes against your bladder. It's like someone is constantly pressing a thumb against a full water balloon. No wonder you can't sleep. And finally, these are our hormones. As we move into our golden years, the water manager hormone in our body starts to retire. This hormone is supposed to tell your kidneys to slow down at night so you can rest. When it stops doing its job, your kidneys keep working overtime, all night long. This is exactly where our kitchen secret comes in, the fennel seed. Now, Fennel isn't just something you find in a fancy sausage recipe or a loaf of rye bread. For centuries, people in the Mediterranean have treated these tiny seeds like gold, and modern science is finally starting to see why. Fennel is a natural relaxant. It contains special oils, like one called anethole. Anethole. It's a beautiful natural compound. When you chew these seeds, those oils go to work like a soothing balm for your insides. Think of it this way. If your bladder is angry or twitchy, fennel helps it calm down. It tells those muscles to relax. If your gut is full of pressure and gas, fennel helps clear the way, taking the weight off your bladder. It is a simple, gentle way to help your body remember how to stay quiet until morning. It isn't a magic pill, and it won't cost you a fortune at the local drugstore. It is just a gift from nature, a small seed for a big, restful night. Because at the end of the day, you deserve to wake up feeling refreshed. You deserve to greet the morning sun, not the bathroom mirror at 3 a.m. The science behind fennel, why it works. Now, you might be sitting there in your favorite armchair, wondering the same thing I did. How can a tiny seed from the spice rack, something you might find in a jar of pickles or a loaf of bread, actually help you sleep through the night? It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Well, it turns out that doctors are taking a very serious second look at fennel. And the reason isn't magic, it is chemistry. You see, inside every single fennel seed, there is a special compound called anethole. That is the secret weapon, anethole. Scientists have been studying this compound in some of the most respected medical journals in the world. They wanted to know why people in Europe and Asia have used this spice for thousands of years to stay healthy. And what they found is truly fascinating. First, let's talk about your bladder. Imagine for a moment that your bladder is like a small, muscular balloon. To work properly, it needs to be calm. But as the years go by, that muscle can become what doctors call twitchy. It gets irritable. It gets sensitive. When your bladder is twitchy, it sends false signals to your brain. It tells your brain that it is full, even when it is not. This is what pulls you out of bed at 2 in the morning. But here is the wonderful part. Fennel is a powerful natural muscle relaxant. In a major study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, researchers found that fennel helps soothe those smooth muscles. It acts like a warm, comforting hug for your bladder. By chewing the seeds, you release that anethole. It travels through your system and tells those twitchy muscles to just relax. It calms the false alarms. It helps you stay in bed where you belong. But that is not all. There is another reason you might be waking up, and it has nothing to do with your kidneys. It's about pressure, internal, physical pressure. Many of us don't realize that our digestive system lives right next door to our bladder. They are neighbors. If you have gas, or if you feel bloated after a heavy dinner, your intestines actually expand. They get bigger, and because space is tight in there, they start pushing. They press right against your bladder. It is like someone is leaning their elbow against a water balloon all night long. No wonder you feel like you have to go. Fennel is famous for being a carminative. That is just a fancy word for something that stops gas from forming. When you chew those seeds for 60 seconds, you trigger the release of natural enzymes. These enzymes break down the bubbles. They flatten the bloat. They take the pressure off. It's a simple relief. The pressure goes away, the bladder has more room, and you get to keep sleeping. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, I heard fennel is a diuretic. Won't that make me go more? That is a great question, and here is the answer. Fennel is a very mild, natural helper for the kidneys, but it is nothing like caffeine or that evening glass of wine. Those things irritate the bladder. They make it angry. Fennel is different. It is an anti-inflammatory. It works gently to help your kidneys process fluids more efficiently during the day. While you are awake, it cleans the pipes, so to speak. By the time your head hits the pillow, your system is calm. It isn't irritated. It isn't inflamed. It is just ready for rest. Finally, there is the relaxation response. Have you ever noticed the smell of fennel? It smells a bit like licorice or anise. It's sweet, it's earthy. When you chew it slowly for a full 60 seconds, that aroma does something to your brain. It signals your nervous system to lower your stress levels. Specifically, it lowers a hormone called cortisol. We call it the stress hormone. When your cortisol is high, your body stays on high alert. It makes you wake up at every little sound. It makes your bladder feel more urgent. By chewing the spice, you are telling your brain that the day is over. You are telling your heart to slow down. You are preparing your body for a deep, uninterrupted, beautiful sleep. It really is amazing how much power is packed into such a tiny, inexpensive seed. You don't need a prescription. You don't need to spend $50 at the pharmacy. You just need a little bit of knowledge and 60 seconds of your time. It's about taking control of your nights again. It's about science, meeting tradition, right in your own kitchen. How to do it? The 60-second fennel ritual. So, now that we understand why this works, you're probably wondering, how exactly do I do it? Is it as simple as just eating a snack? Well, not quite. To get the real benefits, the kind of benefits that help you stay in bed all night long, there is a specific way to do this. It is a ritual, a quiet, 60-second ritual that you perform right before you tuck yourself in. I want you to think of this not as eating, but as releasing. We're trying to unlock the healing oils hidden inside those tiny seeds. Let's go through the steps together, nice and slow. Step 1. Choose the right seeds. When you go to the grocery store, or perhaps you look at your spice rack, you want to find whole fennel seeds. They should look plump and have a beautiful greenish-brown color. Now, here is a very important tip. Please, listen closely. Do not use the sugar-coated fennel seeds. You might see these at the exit of a restaurant or in a colorful jar at a specialty shop. They look like tiny candies, but we must avoid those. Sugar is not a friend to your bladder. It can irritate your system and spike your energy right when you are trying to wind down. We want the pure, organic, plain seeds, just the way nature intended. Step 2. Measure your dose. You don't need a lot. This isn't a meal. Take a simple measuring spoon and scoop out half a teaspoon. That's it, just half a teaspoon. In the palm of your hand, it will look like a small pinch of tiny, striped jewels. This is about 1 or 2 grams. Just enough to do the job without filling your stomach. Step 3. The 60-second chew. This is the most important part of the whole process. Put the seeds in your mouth, but whatever you do, do not swallow them whole. If you just swallow them, your body won't be able to access those wonderful oils we talked about. Instead, I want you to chew. Chew slowly, chew thoroughly. As you chew, you will notice a warm, sweet, licorice-like flavor filling your mouth. That is the anethole. That is the medicine. Keep chewing for a full 60 seconds. Use your watch or just count slowly in your head. 1, 2, 3. You are breaking those seeds down into a fine paste. By doing this, those essential oils are being absorbed right through the thin skin in your mouth. They enter your system much faster this way. It is a direct line to relaxation. Step 4. Swallow or spit. Once that minute is up and the flavor is strong, you have a choice. Most people choose to swallow the seeds. There is a good reason for this. Fennel is full of fiber. When that fiber travels down to your gut, it continues to work through the night, soaking up gas and keeping things calm. However, if you don't like the texture, it is perfectly okay to spit them out. You have already absorbed the most important oils through your mouth. The choice is yours. There is no wrong way, as long as you did the work of chewing. Step 5. The tiny sip. Now, your mouth might feel a bit dry after chewing, or maybe the taste is very strong. You can take a sip of water, but please, be very careful here. Take only a tiny sip, maybe just 1 ounce, just enough to clear your throat. Whatever you do, do not drink a full glass of water. Think about it. If we drink a big glass of water right before bed, we are just filling the bladder again. We would be working against ourselves. Just a tiny sip of room temperature water is all you need. Step 6. A quick clean. Fennel seeds have natural oils. They are good for your body. But some people don't like the feeling of them on their teeth overnight. If that bothers you, feel free to give your teeth a quick, gentle brush. It's a nice way to end the ritual. And that is it. 6 simple steps, 1 minute of your time. It is a quiet moment for yourself. A moment to tell your body, it is time to rest. It is time to stay still. We are going to have a beautiful, uninterrupted night of sleep. I recommend trying this for at least 7 nights in a row. Let your body get used to the ritual. Let the fennel do its work. You might just find that, for the first time in years, you wake up with the sun and not with the urge to run to the bathroom. Real benefits. What users are saying. It is one thing to read about science in a medical journal, but it is another thing entirely to see it work in a real home, in real life. I have heard from so many people who were at their wits' end. People who thought they would never have a full night of sleep again. Take Robert, for instance. Robert is a retired engineer, 62 years old now, because he spent his life as an engineer. Robert is a very logical man. He likes facts. He likes numbers. When he first heard about chewing a kitchen spice to stop his bathroom trips, he was skeptical. Skeptical. That is the word he used. He told me he just didn't think something so simple could solve a problem that had been bothering him for years. You see, Robert was waking up 3 times every single night. Every night, he was tired. He was irritable. He felt like a shadow of his old self, but he decided to give it a try. He figured he had nothing to lose but a few cents and a minute of his time. After just 3 nights, something happened. Something he didn't expect. He went from 3 trips to the bathroom down to just one trip. By the 2nd week, he was sleeping 6 hours straight. 6 hours. For many people, that might not sound like much, but for Robert, it was everything. He told me he felt more alert during the day. He felt sharp again, and as a pleasant surprise, his digestion had never been better. That heavy, bloated feeling he usually had after dinner was just gone. And it isn't just the men who are seeing these results. I have spoken with so many women, especially those in their 50s and 60s, who are dealing with the changes of menopause. They talk about a specific kind of discomfort, a heavy, nagging pressure in the lower belly. They feel like their bladder is always being squeezed. These women are finding that this 60-second ritual, this simple act of chewing fennel, helps everything just settle down. It is like the spice tells their body to stop overreacting. It reduces that internal pressure. It calms the twitchy feeling. Now, of course, these are just stories. We have to remember that everybody is a little bit different. What works for Robert might work differently for you. But these stories are important. They align perfectly with the science of muscle relaxation and inflammation. It is about more than just a spice. It is about a better quality of life. It is about waking up in the morning feeling refreshed, rested, and ready to take on the day. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful benefit of all. Potential risks and final thoughts. Now, as much as I love this simple remedy, I want to make sure we are being smart and safe. Nature is powerful, and that means we have to respect it. Even though fennel is just a spice in your kitchen, there are a few people who should be a bit more careful. First, if you have any health conditions that are sensitive to hormones, you should definitely check with your doctor first. You see, fennel has a very mild, very gentle way of mimicking certain hormones in the body. For most of us, that is perfectly fine, but for some, it is something to watch out for. Also, think about your allergies. If you are someone who has a hard time with carrots or celery, you might want to skip this one. Fennel is part of the same plant family, and if you are on blood thinners, or if you have a big surgery coming up on the calendar, it is always a good idea to have a chat with your healthcare provider. We want to make sure your body stays in perfect balance. Now, what if fennel just isn't the right fit for you? Don't worry, there are other wonderful ways to help your body stay quiet at night. One of the best things you can do is set a water cutoff time. I usually stop drinking big glasses of water around 6 o'clock in the evening. After that, I only take tiny sips if I am thirsty. You can also try the feet up trick. If your ankles look a little swollen at the end of the day, spend 30 minutes before bed with your feet up on a couple of soft pillows. This helps your body process that extra fluid while you're still awake, so it doesn't wake you up later. And please, try to avoid the bladder bullies. That is what I call them. Caffeine, spicy foods, and that late-night glass of wine. They might taste good in the moment, but they are like a loud party for your bladder. So, my friends, we have covered a lot today, from the science of that tiny seed to the stories of people like Robert who finally found some peace. I hope this gives you a little bit of hope. You don't have to just accept that you will never sleep again. You don't have to feel tired every single morning. Try the fennel ritual. Be mindful of your evening habits, and most importantly, listen to your own body. You deserve to wake up feeling like yourself again. You deserve a night of deep, uninterrupted, beautiful rest. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Sleep well and take wonderful care of yourself. Beyond the spice, holistic tips for a dry night. Now, as much as I love that 60-second fennel secret, I have to be honest with you. Even the best natural remedies work better when they have a little bit of help. Think of it like a team. Fennel is your star player, but you still need a good coach and a solid game plan to really get those deep, restful nights. We should look at a few other simple habits. First, let's talk about the 6 o'clock rule. I always tell my friends to try to drink 80% of their water before 6 o'clock in the evening. This gives your body plenty of time to process everything while you're still upright and moving. After 6 o'clock, just take tiny sips. You want to stay hydrated, but you don't want to fill the tank right before you park the car for the night. Next, keep an eye out for the bladder bullies. That is what I call things like caffeine, alcohol, and really spicy foods. I know. I love a good cup of coffee or a spicy taco as much as anyone, but these things can really irritate the delicate lining of your bladder. They make it feel angry and twitchy. If you can try to keep those treats for the morning or early afternoon, your bladder will thank you at 3 in the morning. Also, here is a tip for my friends who notice their ankles get a bit puffy by the end of the day. This is very common. It's just fluid, but when you lie down to sleep, that fluid travels right to your kidneys. To stop this, try elevating your feet on a few pillows for 30 minutes in the late afternoon. Watch the news, read a book, and let that fluid move back toward your heart while you're still awake. It makes a world of difference. And finally, think about magnesium. Sometimes, a restless bladder is just a sign that your muscles are a little bit stressed. Magnesium is a natural mineral that helps every muscle in your body, including your bladder. Just let go. Talk to your doctor about a gentle supplement, like magnesium glycinate. It's all about these small, thoughtful changes. When you combine the fennel ritual with these simple habits, you aren't just hoping for a better night. You are creating one. You are taking charge of your rest, and that is a wonderful feeling. So, there you have it. Just one tiny seed, 1 minute of your time, and a whole night of beautiful, deep, uninterrupted sleep. It is truly amazing how much power is hidden right in our own kitchens, isn't it? I really hope you give this fennel ritual a try tonight, because you deserve to wake up feeling refreshed. You deserve to feel your best. If this video helped you, please share it with a friend who might be struggling too. We are all in this together. And don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps our small community grow and reach more people who need this. Please, remember to talk to your own doctor before trying any new health habits. Your safety is what matters most. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you were here today. Sleep well and take wonderful care of yourself.